Hi.
Hi there.
We're Adam and Lauren Alonso. I'm so excited to be here. We're gonna wait just a minute to get started. I'm gonna share this real quick. So what I want you guys to do, we'll wait a minute before we start just to make sure. Let's see. This is the first time that I have been live in like 2 years, and this is Adam's first ever live. Say hello. Hi, Kelly. That's my biggest fan ever. So excited that you were able to be here. I'm trying to figure out how to share this to my page, but they have changed this since, yeah, I don't know that you can actually share it. So, strange. All right, so tell us where you're watching from and not just location. Like, tell us, like, you're in the car or you're in your kitchen cooking or you're changing a diaper or whatever it happens to be. Adam would be cutting grass or something.
Something like that.
Okay, so we're going to try. I told him to be free and really just express himself because he's really funny. And so I hope you get to see that and not the uptight version of Adam.
Play by ear.
Okay, so I don't know why I can't share this video. It's bothering me, but maybe we can go down here. Let's see if it's down here. Let's go to discussion. Give me just a second, guys. I want to give people a chance to log on. And yay, okay, I can share it. Here we go. Hi, Elizabeth. Hope you're doing great. And I'm going to share it in our group. If you are not part of our Adam and Lauren's birth experience group, the link is in, hi Scott, in the discussion portion. Make sure that you join that because you're not going to miss an update there. And guys are welcome too. So if you want to learn more about natural birth, birthing at home, water birth, if you know anyone that does, make sure to tag them because we're just going to be really open and honest. Okay, so first of all, let's just get the medical stuff out of the way. We are not medical professionals by any stretch. We are literally just going to share our experience. We do not give advice, but we're just going to tell you what kind of like our experience has been, why we chose home birth today, and also like what kind of birth plan we're really focusing on in the environment that we're creating. And then we're gonna go and introduce our birth team. We're just gonna tell you briefly who they are and why we chose them. So, all right, babe. I want to, first of all, go over, so let's just say this. Okay, so just a little background on our family history. I am an adoptive mom of Freddie was 13 when he came to us, 14 when I adopted him, and then he's now almost 19. So it's been a little while. So we have a teenager still living at home at the moment and trying to graduate high school. And Adam and I met, and he had 2 little kids. And then I got introduced to them about a year ago, and so they're all August and September kids, so it's gonna get real exciting. And so a 1-year-old and a 4-year-old that is almost 2 and 5 will be 2 and 5 when Abel gets here.
That's right.
So here's the belly bump. Ask any questions that you want to during the experience here, and we're gonna pick, if you want it to be directed at Adam, put Adam and then write it, and then Lauren and then write it, or if you want it to be directed at both of us, let us know, and we're gonna just take one off the cuff at the end and answer if we have time. So first up is, okay, so I have always wanted a home, like a water birth. If you guys know part of my story, I was married before Joel was a quadriplegic, and we had a lot of trauma related to medical professionals, doctors, people making decisions. Because he was nonverbal, it was very hard for him to communicate. He never got a say in what he wanted for his medical care and attention. And so it was a struggle. And so one of the things that I thought about when trying to get pregnant was, you know, what do I like? Do I really want to be in the hospital? And then he's over in the corner in a wheelchair. Well, that doesn't sound exciting. So I started looking into water birth, home birth, so that he could be there. But we never got pregnant. And so it was one of those things that I just kind of put in the back of my mind. But then I got introduced to a more natural lifestyle and some crunchy living, and I became a little bit more hippie, and or so people would say, just really more natural minded. And so that's kind of my story. And then like Adam comes from a mom who is a nurse and a brother who's a general practitioner. And so his background is very different. So I'm going to let him tell you a little bit about his background with just medicine and doctors, and then why, like when I said, hey babe, we'll start with unmedicated. Okay. So when I said I want an unmedicated birth,
I was not about it. Completely against it. Because both the births were kind of traumatic for me in the hospital. So
give a little background of like the trauma behind like the intensity of those situations and why you thought.
Well, just in general, just being in a hospital, I don't like it at all. And then second of all, you know, in the hospital giving birth to my son, for example, there was 3 doctors, 5 nurses, in and out. And I was on this little tiny couch that didn't fit me. It was stressful all around. I mean, it was no privacy. It's just, this is too many people. It just felt
too much intervention.
It was too much intervention. It just felt unnatural.
But at the same time, before we got to this point, Adam was like, "Oh, this is normal, right?
Yeah.
Like we go to when we go to have a baby, you go to the hospital. This is what's normal. This is what you do." And so I think a lot of that anxiety came from those traumatic experiences and sitting back, going, this is necessary. We have to have doctors on standby. We have to have 5 of them surrounding the bed. And so a lot of trauma surrounding that. Mm-hmm. So when I said unmedicated, you were like,
heck no.
You're going to need,
there has
you're going
to
to
be
want
medical
medicine.
Professionals.
Well, and just medicine in general.
In general, yeah.
You're going to want that, epidural. And
yeah.
I'm like, no, there's another way. And he's like, what? So that was that. And then I was like, well, babe, what about a home birth? And I just kind of started introducing, this is what Lauren does when Lauren wants something. I start introducing it slowly. You do the same thing though.
I do.
With dogs, motorcycles, whatever. We'll just tell the story of the dog real quick. Adam wants another dog. And one day, all of a sudden I realized that he had subscribed our family email to the local animal shelter so that we would get updates every time there was a new puppy or a new dog. Not a puppy, we don't want a puppy. And I was like, did you do this on purpose? Like I nailed it right away.
Yep. I try to be sneaky.
Yeah, try to be sneaky. Hi, Lori. So glad you're here. Sorry, my voice cracked tremendously because I got excited to see her. Okay, so again, tell us where you're watching from, state, city if you want, and then where you're watching from, a car, doing yard work, feeding the kids, whatever. We want to know for sure. And okay, so that was Adam's first impression. There's actually a really funny video if you're part of our Adam and Lauren's birth experience group. There's a hilarious video from yesterday. Don't miss it because it is pretty much Adam's like, you want in a pool, in a what? So what was your experience when I said, I want a water birth, honey, in our living room?
No, absolutely not. You want to do what?
And then like your impression of the pool.
What was my impression?
Just the nastiness.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I can tell you right now, I'm not getting in that pool.
That's
no matter what.
That's been it. I have so many thoughts and like so many little side stories, but I'm going to try to save those for where they fit. If you have questions, please feel free to drop them in the comments if we don't get them to them today, because it's off topic or something. We will come back again and do another one. So I'm so excited. She said pet sitting 4 dogs. Okay, so all right, so we went over kind of like our background with medicine and doctors and all of that. And it's not like we believe that there is a point for that, but I'm a full believer that God created us as humans to give birth naturally. Like it's something that we were created to do. I also lived on a farm, if you know that part of me. I had 90 animals and I would walk outside and they had already given birth. Like they did not need my assistance and my intervention. And most of the time I had one little duck, his name was Squirmy. And I don't know why I named him that. I guess I ran out of names. But I helped him hatch and he actually suffered because of it for a little while. And I didn't know if he was going to make it. So it's like one of those things, like you think we think we need to intervene and sometimes we don't. And so there is definitely a need for medicine and doctors and all of that. But this is not, like, this is something that I wanted to be a participant in and of, and not, like, I didn't want it to be happening to me. I want to be a participant in it. I want to be closer in my walk with God because I'm leaning on him in my pain and my suffering and all of that. But also, like, figure out what my body can do. Like, really tap into, not the pain that I can experience, but like how to maneuver and transition from stage to stage of labor and doing it in a natural way where it brings me closer to Jesus without going home. Okay. So we'll go with that. So what we did, I didn't really research, for Adam's purposes, but I had, a friend of mine who is now my doula, say, hey, like, watch this video and just like let him see it, watch it together. And so it's called Why Not Home, and it goes through actually doctors and OBs who are deciding to have home births, why they're doing it. So they have both sides of it and they're choosing to have their babies at home, why they chose it. And so I think that was really eye-opening, and Adam listened to most of it. He's a little ADHD. So, but you were listening in the background regardless.
Yes.
And so, like, do you think that had an impact on
Absolutely.
just hearing from them, right?
Yes.
The professionals.
Agreed.
There's also the Birth of Doing Business, or the Business of Birthing, something like that. Sorry. And I haven't watched that, but I've heard it's incredible. And only in the last, 30 years, I think, has this become something that's really normalized in America. Most countries are still having midwives, and they're professionals. Like, they have extra training in this area, and it's their sole and only focus. And so that's what really drug me to that place, you know? Okay, so what do you think, like, in those ideas and concepts changed your mind about giving birth at home? Like, why did you, like, watching that video, and now you're following other people? He told me this week, he's like, I'm following midwives and home births and doulas and all this stuff. And I was like, all on his own.
I don't know. I just think the whole idea of the comfort of your own home makes it all the while.
Right.
You know, being able to have like worship music going on in the background, my dog sitting right next to me.
Your emotional support dog.
My emotional support
She's
dog,
sleeping
rather.
right
Yeah,
now.
yeah, she's sleeping. But just the comfort of my own home without 10, 15 people in and out of the room.
Stressful, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's a stressful situation.
I wanted it to be as peaceful as it possibly can be.
Yeah. And for me, it's a peaceful environment, but it's also like leading up to that. I think it's really important, I think, to create that peace walking into that. I don't know, because I haven't experienced it, right? But if I were having a child in the hospital, it's like, okay, I wait till I'm in the hospital, and then it's like, okay, then the doctors take over. Versus me being able to really have a plan and work on affirmations and work on building my mind and work on building our marriage through it. Like,
Yes.
One of the reasons that we hired our doula, go get in the tub and help Lauren. Yeah. I'm a little concerned that Mocha's going to think that I'm like hurting, but I think that she's going to understand what's happening. So I think she'll be intuitive to that. She's a very intuitive dog. So we'll get more into our birth plan in a moment. But one of the things that I definitely wanted to cover is like just not being a number. Like, midwives only take a certain amount of clients per year, and that's very appealing to me because they spend more time with you. They're more personable. They know your family story. They've met your kids because you can bring them in the office with you. They're part of the entire journey, and they're able to give a better quality experience than you just being a number. And quite honestly, with hospitals, like, a lot of what's done, whether it's medication or induction or intervention or C-sections or whatever, everything is done around those people getting paid for the time that they're there. And really, they're working, it's a job. It's more of a job, okay? And I'm sorry if you are a medical professional. I'm very thankful that you're there in case of needing you. But what I'm saying is like, not everything is a medical necessity. Not everything is an emergency. And I think in the hospital, a lot of times, we see people going into a medical emergency because things were forced or rushed, or medicine was like, we weren't naturally going into it to do the thing that we were called to do as women and give birth. we are being forced to do it on their time clock. And I don't think that's how God designed it at all. So just a little bit on my faith there. Okay, so why not the hospital? Well, we've kind of went over that, the rotation being just a number, and the experience with like being able to kick back on the couch at my midwife's office. And it's like getting to bring Adam to those appointments and her asking him, what hesitations do you have? What questions do you have? I think is really cool. So what's one thing that kind of stuck out to you about our midwife that you're like, okay, I feel comfortable?
Just the level of confidence she had in the way she spoke, you know, just her having 17 years of experience. She didn't have a shred of doubt in her voice.
I think that's what it is the comfort of her.
It was so comfortable. Yeah. I liked it.
And it's like, and she's got a laid back attitude. So we'll get more into that in a moment. Okay. So let's talk about our birth plan. Okay. So when you create a birth plan, if you've ever created a birth plan or you don't know what a birth plan is, it's basically a legal document. It's not like binding. It's one of those things that's like, okay, this is what we go by. You can take it to the hospital if you want, if you decide if that's more your cup of tea, but the birth plan lets people know what you want and keeps them informed. And I don't know, because I have never experienced it, if they even ask that. Like, I don't even know that they go through that. So a little bit more about my background. We did decide earlier on that we were going to do more of a birthing center that's at the hospital. But we opted out of that because of a couple scares that became a little bigger, overemphasized than they needed to be at the moment. And I just didn't want that fear. A lot of it has to do with fear and peace for me. I don't want fear crowding my mental space, my emotional space. Because if we have to go to a place like that, it's fine. We will. Like, we'll do it. But we're both kind of like in the moment kind of people. So I wanted something more relaxed, and being at the hospital in any capacity, even with a midwife, was not going to give me what I felt like I needed mentally and emotionally to be able to do what I needed to do naturally and not have hospital protocol. Like, okay, well, I don't really know what their protocols are, but they still have to follow them or they get fired. So a midwife, it's a little different. So, okay, birth plan. So what do you visualize? And I asked Adam this earlier. I was like, what do you visualize our home birth being like? What are you looking forward to in being at home? And I'll let you share some of yours, like the atmosphere.
Like I said, the comfort of my own home, you know, music playing in the background, my dog following me around. Home is where you want to be, you know, it's where my peace is.
Yeah, for sure.
So it beats a hospital any day of the week.
Yeah. It gives me anxiety just walking in. The smell of a hospital.
And then they rush you out of the hospital. At the hospital, you know, you got a day and a half, 2 days, and then out you go.
Yep. But then you're being woken up every hour on the hour and not actually being able to rest.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and baby being taken out, ushered out for test or whatever, and all the things. So, for me, I'm gonna have, of course, if you know me, I'm gonna have some aromatherapy going on with my essential oils. Just because when I have them in literally every room in this space, I have one over there, I have one in the kitchen, I'll have one in the living room by then, and really just creating like that sense of peace through using essential oils. That's definitely something that I'm going to do. And then I love the worship music. Like, we have a TV right here behind us, and we're planning on having the pool right here in our living room. Like, there's a big space here. And we'll get into children in a second, but I think that having that worship music, having that aromatherapy, having like my birthing team who I have full confidence in, and then Adam is going to be just as prepared as I am. Like if I'm in a position that I need help, like he's going to know how to help me.
Yes.
And it's really about the participation that you get to have as well.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, you don't get to do that at the hospital except maybe cut the cord.
That's it. And stand back.
Stand back and let them do their thing.
Yeah.
Versus like helping me and like us bonding, not just during labor, but during like preparing. Mm-hmm. You know, massaging my hips and stuff, honey.
I got you, babe.
So I'm excited about that. Okay, and then also just so having like the ability to eat what I want, drink what I want, not have to eat or drink hospital food. Being able to, we have a creek on our property, being able to walk down to the creek and just hear and like be grounded and feel the earth and just be at peace. Like, with no rush. Like, I think that's a big thing too, is we might take the clocks down just so, and I don't know, I might just have it in the background so that we have it in pictures and stuff like that. But I don't want to look at the clock. Like, I've talked to several moms who've done this before, and they're like, literally, like, if you pay attention to the time, you feel rushed.
Yeah.
You don't know how much time has gone by if you don't. So just be in the moment, and like nothing else matters.
Yeah.
Except birthing that baby in that moment. So that's a huge thing. So affirmations, really preparing my mind ahead of time, and then there's silly things like I didn't know people wanted to watch their child be born, like with a mirror. That is not something that Lauren cares to watch. Nope. And then I meant to look this up, and if you know, you're welcome to answer me, but like something about like touching the crown of their head really gives a mom like the extra push that she needs to like actually let it fly. You know what I mean? So like let the baby come out, let the baby be birthed, all those things. And it releases like, I don't know if it's dopamine, and I don't know, but something in the body that helps give that natural push to finish. Like, oh, we're almost there, let's go. But I don't want to like pull the baby out. I don't want to I want delayed cord clamping, like, you know, standard stuff like that. But I will share my birthing plan with you. I don't have it all written out. It's kind of still developing in my head, but I will share it with you if you're part of that birth experience group. And then I'll create a template. And then if you ever want one or want to share it, you can have it too. So, yeah, I think that's pretty much it. And then our birth team. So I'm excited. And why we chose our birth team. So I went through, we interviewed multiple midwives. One, the first one, she gave us a lot of information about the people that she was connected to or knew in the community, kind of references. She wasn't a good fit for us early on because we weren't sure what. No. We weren't sure if we, like, this is like very early on when Adam was like, I don't know about this, you know? So she was my first call. I don't even remember who it was. But I could just tell it wasn't right. And I just really am a peace person. Like if I feel peace, like I'll choose that. And just following the Holy Spirit. So the second one, I may have had like 4, but there was a second one. Is this one that makes you? The second one that I was on the phone with for an hour, and
the one with the kids getting in the pool?
Yes. So she was talking about the kids getting in the pool, but she was very, her methods were just very different. She was very low intervention, like stand back unless you need her. I don't know if I need you or not. Okay. I need you to be in charge. So that was just one of those things that was just like, it was just 2 different mindsets, right? I need someone who is going to know, and I don't necessarily need someone checking my cervix and looking and measuring me and keeping monitoring and all that. I don't want all the machines and all that, but I wanted someone who's confident in what they do. They know how to intervene, but I don't have to be told about everything. Like just do what you are called to do, what you feel is necessary in that moment. That's just my personality. So, and so that led us to we actually hired our doula kind of in between there. So our doula, I've known for like 10 years, and she is incredible. Her name is Rebecca Hames, and she is also a photographer. So we have a birth photographer and doula all in one. And she is a pastor's wife. I don't think he's pastoring it right now, but, I could be wrong. But she has 2 little kids. She's had a traumatic hospital birth, and she's also had a home birth. Hi Mo. When she announced that she was going to, that she was going to be doing this, I was so excited because we were trying to conceive at the moment. And so I sent her a message and I was like, just to let you know. And then she said I was the first person to message her to let her know, like, hey, we're pregnant. And so she was excited for us. But I used to go to church with her and her husband, and so I knew them. I haven't seen them in like 10 years, but they moved to Oklahoma and then they moved back, and knew that like her ideal client is someone who values photography and home birth and natural birth, and she does it all. But her ideal client, she's like, you are my ideal client. Like, you value all these things and they're very important. So I'm excited to have Becca on our team, and she's always just a Marco Polo away. So when I have questions. And then another really cool thing about our midwife, it's hatched, Carrie Lapel. I'm sorry if I totally butchered her last name, but Carrie is our midwife. And another great thing about her is like, I can literally text her at any point in time. What are you laughing about? So she's really chill. I've been watching her. She's probably the longest midwife I've watched, for sure. He's getting goofy. But Carrie's awesome, and we're excited. She will bring another midwife with her. I believe it's the one that's just about to graduate, or she's already graduated, but I got to meet her as well. I don't know. I don't remember how many assistants, and I don't know. I don't have all the questions. Adam has all the questions. So you want to tell them about our first experience? Going to tell them about our first experience walking in? So we walk in for our very first meeting with her. We had one over the phone first, and then we walk in, and she's like, "So how are you feeling?" And Adam goes, "I'm exhausted." And he plops down on the couch like this is his appointment, and I was rolling. So I'm excited. Yes, I'm so excited, Lisa, for our doula. So thankful for her and her mindset, and like, I would say whether you're having a hospital birth or whether you're having a home birth, you need a doula, period. Like, they are going to help you with a birth plan. They're going to help you stick to that and make sure that you have what you need when you need it. And it's been an incredible experience with her. And like, if I were doing it at the birthing center, I would have her as well. So not just for photography, but like literally for emotional support and everything. Like, she gets me, you know? So I love that. Okay, so that's pretty much it. If you guys have any questions, please leave them in the comments. If you're watching the replay, make sure that you replay. Feel free to share this video. And then if you're not part of our birth experience group, I would absolutely love for you to be. Adam will be jumping on here with me as well. So, and oh, we didn't get into the kids. So the kids will not be present at our birth. Our little hooligans, they are very energetic. And so we have decided that they will be with the grandparents. And when it comes time for that, unless it's the middle of the night, and then we still will probably call anyway, because they're late nighters anyway. Because we will just be focused on them and not a peaceful birth. Exactly. That's not what it is. Thank you, Lori. Appreciate you. She said you're adorable pregnant. I don't know if your vision is that great with your contacts in from this far away. I can read it. But hi, Lene. Okay, so thank you guys so much for watching. Again, share, like, comments, questions, all the things. Make sure that you're in the group. And we'll be coming live again soon, answering more. So definitely whatever questions you have, like that this kind of stirred up, it could be related or not related, feel free to leave them. We also have a question section in the group so that I can go back and kind of categorize them and put them all together so that we can do another event like this soon. So thank you guys for tuning in.